Hi, and welcome to the Confident Woman Podcast. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Erin.
And we're here to keep it real, raw, and what it means to be the confident woman. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Confident Woman Podcast. Today we have with us a very special guest, Angelica Ventrice. Angelica is a high-performance mentor and health coach to female entrepreneurs and executives who desire to level up their health and wealth. She has been featured in Entrepreneur, Authority Magazine, and MyFitnessPal. And she is obsessed with guiding driven women to shift their mindset and bank accounts while shedding those unwanted pounds along the way without ridiculous fad diets or crazy restrictions. To this date, she has helped over 700 women to transform their bodies and minds while finding a true alignment in their personal and professional lives. So how cool is that? I mean, who doesn't want to up-level their health and their wealth and get all the things, right? So
all the things, like cover all the things.
All
health,
the things.
Life, abundance, yeah. All
right.
What I'm doing, I'm like, I do everything. A little bit of everything.
I know. Yeah, it's one of those loaded questions, right? But, the core of it is just really to empower women to be at their highest version of themselves and feel like it's not just the weight, right? Come on, ladies. It's not just the weight.
Not just the weight. It has nothing to do with the scale. It doesn't really matter whether you come to my program and you lose 5 pounds, 50 pounds. It's about how you feel in your body and the confidence you have and that alignment. And that leads to more wealth and more power and more abundance. So yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm excited to dive in because I feel like today is going to be just an amazing conversation and the topics that, so many women struggle with, because a lot of times it comes from that external validation. Like, are we making enough progress in our lives? Are we looking the part? Does our bank account have the zeros that we want in it? Are we making the progress in our careers, our relationships, and all that stuff? And so, I'm excited to just hear more about you and your story and like kind of how you got started in this line of work and just, where this passion ignited from, and then how we can go from there.
Sure. So over 11 years ago, I was doing medical sales. So that was like one of my first jobs, pharmaceutical sales, medical sales. And I was overweight pretty much my whole life. I remember like being in 3rd grade, going to the doctor with my mom and the doctor being like, yeah, your daughter's heavy. She needs to drink skim milk. You know how things like stick in your head and you're like, oh my God, then you're like, I'm fat and you're younger and it sticks with you. So, you start to just develop this lack of confidence. So I remember feeling that all the way into my mid-20s. And then finally couldn't take it anymore. I hired my first coach. I'd struggled, like I said, with being overweight for a long time. I was depressed. I had acne, severe acne, horrible. And I just felt really uncomfortable in my own skin. So couldn't take it anymore. Hired my first coach, went through my transformation journey, lost 35 pounds. And it was through working with him, I felt this something in me, like, this is what I'm meant to do. I can't it was just something clicked within me. I'm sure your listeners have felt that. I'm sure you felt that at a point, right? For what you do. And I'm just like, I need to do this. So I stayed doing medical sales, but I started studying nutrition, studying fitness, got certified in personal training, coaching. And I decided to leave my medical sales job in New York, move to California, because California is the mecca of health, like especially LA area. A lot of people are very healthy. Things kind of hit there first. And I was like, I'm moving to LA area and I'm starting just from scratch. So left New York, no job lined up, went to Equinox Gym. I'm sure people are familiar with that.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Equinox is a great gym. And I was there for 4 years, worked my way up. And then once again, started to kind of feel like unfulfilled, like I was meant for more. And I knew I could reach more women. I knew I could help more people than just outside of California, right in that little town. So I took my business online, and Fit for Life, the name of my program, was born. And it means not just fit physically, but mentally, emotionally fit. Yeah. And I was scared when I took my business online because I had like 200 friends on Facebook and didn't even know how to work Instagram. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to post. It was very overwhelming, but I'm so happy I did it. So long story short, that's what got me involved. It was a weight loss journey. And then I shifted really from just doing personal training into more mindset coaching, nutrition coaching. And then I got really involved in the spiritual aspect to weight loss, the metaphysical side, weight loss and abundance and manifestation. So I've just kind of taken it deeper and deeper and deeper into the mindset. When I first started, I was very more like masculine, fitness. And now it's more feminine.
Right. Oh my gosh, I love this. And I can relate to so much of what you just said. I mean, I think that we have way too much in common, but it's
Love
so
it.
cool because it's like, for me, that's kind of how I got started in that fitness space several years ago. I say like that's a former version of myself too, because we're always evolving.
Mhm.
And I had just, I think that was around 2018 as well. I was coming off my last competition. And prior to that, I think it was between 15 and 18 when I was really heavily into fitness and health and nutrition in that aspect from my own personal transformation, learning about nutrition and fitness.
Love
And
it.
then it was just all like food and lift. And I said,
Yeah.
where's the substance? Let's go deeper. And
Yes.
so oddly enough, my program is called Fit from Within. And so I hit on those four
Oh,
pillars as well: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just listening to this and I'm like, wow, that wasn't even in your bio, but yeah, here we are. So
Yeah. That's funny.
way
Wow.
too familiar. But
Wow.
I love that you shared that story, because how many of us have actually had just something so moving in our life that transformed us, and yet we use that pain and put it into our purpose, right? So we've
Totally.
transformed ourselves, and now it's like, oh my gosh, this feeling is just incredible, that it almost feels like so selfish to hang on to it. You're like, I got to give this away, I got to help all these people. Like, this is just
I
who we
agree.
are.
And what you just said, pain into purpose, I just wrote that down because that is so true. Because the pain of being overweight, the pain of feeling
Mhm.
depressed, and honestly suicidal when I was in high school. Like I felt horrible. And also polycystic ovarian syndrome and hypothyroid. So teaching women that you can achieve great success in your body transformation while having those things. But it was painful, right? And even still, I deal with some stuff now. So using that pain for purpose and to really help other women see the light.
Right. And when we look at that and we see women that are like, but I haven't found my purpose yet. What is my purpose? And I'm a true believer that we don't find our purpose finds us. And it's like tapping into those experiences in our life. So whether they have directly or indirectly affected us, we can turn that pain into this like igniting this passion. Like, I cannot anymore. I have to do something
Yes.
about it. And that
Yes.
becomes your purpose. So
Totally.
I mean, I love this, and I'm feeling like where it's going in this conversation, but I'm excited for it. So, when you had your own transformation, and then kind of how long was that process until you began to really feel so confident in like, okay, this is the path now. This isn't something that's going to fail me, because I'm sure that you probably have experienced multiple diets and
Yeah.
exercises and did all the things, right? And just
All the
hitting
things.
failure after failure after failure.
Yep.
And at what point did you say, oh, wait, this one hasn't failed me yet? Like, what was that turning point for you?
Whew. Okay. So my transformation with my coach, I worked with him for a year. So it was towards the end of the first year. At first, when I started with him, I was not confident at all. I remember lifting 3-pound weights, feeling like it was so hard. I would cry in the gym within me. I just felt so weak mentally and physically, honestly. And I kept going through it and through it. And people started saying, "Oh, what are you doing? You look amazing." Well, like, what's going on? It was you're radiant. You have more vibrancy, all these things. And I was like, what? I didn't even see it in myself yet. Other people were seeing it first. And then I noticed I started to look a little different, but I felt completely different.
Mm-hmm.
I felt aligned in my body. Before the transformation journey, I felt like, I'm sure you can relate and other people can relate listening, felt out of alignment. Like the outside didn't match the inside. Like I had things in me that wanted to come out, but my body was kind of blocking. And like you said, finding your purpose. I believe by transforming my body, I found my purpose. And I think a lot of women can relate to that. And I'm not saying, no, you need to lose all the weight and become ripped or anything like that, but just having that body alignment, feeling at home, your body is your main vessel. That's when it kind of clicked towards the end of that transformation with him. So it was towards the end. It took a year, I would say. And then, yeah, just something in me. I was like, I got to do this. I got to help other women feel the way I feel. It wasn't
Right.
even like look the way I look. It was like feel the way I feel
Right.
empowered, feel confident. I didn't weigh myself. I think I only weighed myself maybe 2 times on that whole journey with him. He took my body fat, but like I wasn't obsessing over the scale or anything like that. It was more just like, I feel better. I feel better. I have more energy. I just remember those shifts.
Right. And it's when you look at that perspective and that shift, you realize that it no longer became about the physical. So I think and both of us could speak on this, is that when you work with women, they typically come with an external problem, right? They say, I don't like the way I look, or I'm uncomfortable in this body, or I want to lose the weight, or, they too have tried all the things and have failed. So it's like, once you start working on from what I said, the fit from within, you have the fit for life. So very similar principles and philosophies, is that when we start focusing on the inner fitness, it's almost like the mind just separates from the body and does what it needs to do on the inside. And then when you start looking at yourself in that reflection, it's like you're looking at yourself through a fresh lens, a new perspective. And it's like, yep. Oh, even though it's the same body, well, some changes have happened, but yet it no longer becomes the focal point. And I love that you just mentioned that, because you said like you didn't really care so much about how the body was looking, because on the inside, you were too busy feeling something you never felt before.
Exactly.
It's like
the metaphysical side, the whole metaphysical side. So that's one of the big differentiators between my program. And there's a million, let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
Coaching is huge now. A few years ago, it's huge now. There's millions of health coaches on social media. One of the main differences in my program, besides the fact that we have a strong emphasis on gut health, is the mindset. It's the metaphysical. I almost want to call myself like a spiritual weight loss coach, but I hate the term weight loss. But I do feel like I really take a spiritual approach to it. It's the metaphysical. So many women don't realize they've tried all these diets over and over again, and they've quote unquote failed, right? Or they feel like a failure. It's because they've neglected to realize that your mind has an impact on your body. The thoughts, what you say to yourself, what you're thinking on a daily basis. And until you grasp that, your body's not going to transform. You're not going to feel completely aligned. Sometimes when I say that to women, they're like, what? They don't get it.
Right.
But then as they start to work with me, they're like, okay, we get it now.
Right.
We get it now.
There's kind of like that delayed reaction, like you're doing the stuff and then it's like, ooh, aha, it clicks, right? And it's so true, because it's like how do we shift that perspective so we're no longer looking externally for the results, but yet inside we're so focused on the small wins, the progress, how we feel, the compliments we receive, to the slowing down, the shifting of perspective and focus. And it's like, we lose sight of that and think, oh, but the scale hadn't budged, or the measurements and they're not moving the way I want. And so we get so caught up on the physical that we neglect the mental. Yeah, the mental, but yet the spiritual being that resides in this vessel of a body.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So yeah, tell me more. I'm intrigued by your story, and I just want to learn more about, your journey and how you have come to this place where you are now in your dream place, right? I mean,
right. Yeah.
But by the way, those listening, she is in Maui, and it is gorgeous there. It's one of my favorite places on earth. And here she is. I'm looking at her, just beautiful, like sun ray coming in, and she is just in like this magical moment. So truly you have embodied everything that you practice, teach, and preach, and you're living your best life as this beautiful, confident, radiant woman. And this is,
you're making me blush. Literally blushing. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. And it's a long road, one thing I will say, I am consistently working on myself and investing in myself. Mm-hmm. Always. I always have a coach. So from the very first coach I had 11 years ago on my weight loss journey, to then getting a life coach, to then having multiple business coaches, continuing to work with a health coach, because I believe that I don't know it all. And that's part of what's led me to where I am today, always being coached and mentored by some of the best. So that's really, really important to me. So that's part of what led me to where I am today. I'm always looking to learn, always looking to grow, always looking to evolve and be the best version of me. As far as Maui, let's touch upon that, because we speak about manifestation. A lot of people be like, oh my God, you're so lucky. You're so lucky you live in Maui. I'm like, this is not luck. This is aligned action. This is intentionally moving my business online, years ago, and then deciding that I can live anywhere in the world. And Maui is where we wanted to live. So here we are. I also literally manifested the exact cottage we're in. Like, I wrote in my journal a year before we were moving, to a T, hardwood floors, brand new kitchen, 30 seconds from the beach, yard for a puppy, literally to a T. This cottage fell into our lap. We saw a few pictures, and I said to my boyfriend, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I showed him my journal, and he's like, oh wow, this is insane. So I believe in manifestation. I believe in aligned action, abundance. I mean, it's not just like you have to take proper steps to get to where you want to go, but I do believe in manifestations. I think, but part of what we go back to, what's led me to be this version of myself is initially working on my health. is putting myself first. And I know a lot of women listening, busy entrepreneur females or high level executives, they often don't put themselves first. Career comes first, kids, everyone else, people pleasing. And when that happens, you're not the best version of yourself and you're not living your greatest life because everything else is coming first before you. You put you and your body and how you feel first, not in a selfish way, but you put yourself first because that's what you deserve. I believe everything else follows.
Oh, I can 100% agree to that. I mean, my book behind me, Chasing Perfection, I was that person, people pleaser, chasing, how did I look externally to other people looking in? Was my life perfect? Did I have that perfect body? Did I have the perfect marriage? Everything had to be perfectly curated because I was afraid to show my vulnerabilities.
Right.
But, here I am, I expose them all and I'm like, I have no shame around that. And that's cool because it creates that freedom. And so I want to touch on one of the things that you had just said about you manifested this exact home that you're in right now. And I think for women listening that, we could think of like manifestation as just like, okay, I'm thinking it and it'll appear. But yet the biggest thing, and from my understanding of just this little snippet, is that your manifestation became your reality because you let go of the attachment and expectation of focusing on what hadn't come yet to being open to receiving what could be possible. And so I want to talk about that mindset shift what were some of the cogs that were getting stuck in your thought processes of things that were holding you back prior to, having that big shift where now life was like, hey, we've been waiting for you to show up and here we are.
Mm-hmm. The biggest shift, and for anyone listening, and this is what I truly believe, is your belief. Mm-hmm. If you truly deep down believe that you can shed the weight, that you could have the dream house in Maui, that you could become a millionaire, it will happen. But you have to work on that strong belief and you have to focus more on abundance and what you do have and all the great things in your life. I'm not saying it in like a toxic positivity way, like, ooh, I'm only focusing on but obviously there's duality. We all have negative, horrible things happen to us, but where is your focus going on a daily basis? And in order to attract more abundance, you have to focus on the abundance in your life. And I don't just mean financial abundance. I mean the abundance of nature, the abundance of your clients or your career or your partner or your kids or your dog. Where is abundance in your life and what are you focusing on? And it's a continuum. Mindset is a muscle, just like the muscle in our body. It's something that I work on every day through meditation, going deeper with it, journaling, grounding, spending time at the beach, like really quiet time. So it's been a work in progress because years ago, I would never have pegged myself for someone spiritual. I laughed at people who meditated. I was like, no way. I couldn't even do yoga. Like I could not calm my system down. Then I got into it. I started with 5 minutes. Are you like that too? It's in New York.
Oh yeah. That's the hustle and bustle, right? Let's go.
Yes, it's the hustle, but now I don't
hate hustle. I hate that word.
I don't hustle. That word's not even my vocabulary. And people say, and it's so crazy because people still say it. They're like, wow, you're so successful. You hustle hard. I'm like, no, don't hustle hard anymore. No.
You take that same approach for like fitness is that you work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. Yes. But the old me, just like the old you, we did hustle. We did push. It was 2 hours workouts a day, restrict the calories, do all the things. But no, that is not sustainable, right? It's not sustainable. So yeah, the biggest thing, with law of attraction, abundance and manifestation is really believing. And then for me, it's also talking to everyone's different, universe, spirit guides, God, connecting. I'm really into crystals as well. And I use sage and Palo Santo. So I like to use those things as well. So that's helped me.
Yes. And you make that good point because it's like when we stop focusing on what we don't have, you're going to be open to receiving more of what you want. And so it's changing that narrative in our mindset. And so I'm a firm believer in our words dictate who we become.
Oh my gosh.
How we choose to speak to and about ourselves is really like, are we speaking words of empowerment? Are we telling ourselves that, my body's fat, gross, and disgusting?
Exactly. This is what I teach my clients. Disempowering words.
Right.
At a lower vibration on the planet. Not only do they have a physiological effect, they increase cortisol and stress in your body, which affects gut health and affects your inability to lose weight quicker, right? Mm-hmm. But then that's what you're attracting to your world. If you're thinking these type of low vibrational thoughts about yourself, about others, you're not going to have much abundance flowing your way, honestly.
Yeah. And you're not going to, if you think like, okay, I'm fat and overweight, well, then it's going to be a lot more difficult to lose the pounds that you may want to. But yeah, actually, it's not really about the pounds. Like we've said at the beginning, it's not about the pounds. It's about changing how we see ourselves, how we, how we speak to and about ourselves. That, it for the pounds, who told you that you needed to lose that in the first place? Like, if you felt like badass confident within, why are we so focused on what is needs to be changed instead of enhancing more on what we have to be abundantly grateful for, to call in more of that? So of course, what we focus on, we're going to get more and more of. So I love that you talk about shifting the paradigm, right? It's like how we show up, how we speak about ourselves, how we care for ourselves, what we're thinking, what we're believing, right? We're human beings. We're consumers of everything. And so what we put in our mind, body, and soul, we become.
And our mouth.
Yep. So everything that goes in our mind, to our physical bodies, to our listening, to our watching, to our eating, to our drinking, like all of these things we manifest that is who we become, right?
Literally. Yes.
Yeah.
This is why it annoys me when other health coaches are like, weight loss is just calories in, calories out. I'm like, if it was, then every woman I interviewed would be in great shape, because they're not eating enough and they're working out most of the time, right? They're under eating. They come to me eating like 900 calories a day and they're doing the workouts. They're like, I don't get it. I'm doing the workouts. But then I talk about like, what are your thought processes? How stressed are you? How's your sleep? How's your lifestyle? Who do you surround yourself with? How much water you're drinking, right? So it's not just calories in, calories out. That is literally one of my biggest pet peeves. I'm gonna do a reel on that today. It's like, I see it all the time. I have friends who talk about it. I have to disagree, because gut health is not calories in, calories out. You could be hitting your macros to a T, doing all the workouts, but you have past trauma in your body from childhood, or took antibiotics, or are highly stressed, and your gut microbiome is off. So then no, you don't transform your body that way. So no.
Right. And I love that you just brought that up, because it's like, oh, could we go on like these little rants here? Right. And exactly. Every woman is like, I don't know. I mean, it's calories in, calories out. So if I'm eating 900 calories, do I have to go down to like 500? It's like, no, you actually need to eat more. That's the reason your body's like salt. Like, you are not feeding the body to carry you through the day. So it's like, we don't know when we're going to get it. So we're just going to hang on to whatever we got. And
we're just going to hold on tight and get all inflamed and swollen. Exactly.
Right. We're swollen. We're miserable. We're stressed. Our body is just so tense and highly volatile. We're short on temper. We don't sleep well. We're just not taking care of ourselves. And so we need to stop focusing on the calories, the clean, and I'm using quotes, clean eating, and the extreme workouts, and just feeling like less is more. And I love that saying in philosophy when it's applicable to the context that it needs to be in, but it's not in fitness.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Sometimes we just need to put this content out, because it's like a reminder to anyone listening to just really pause for a moment and be like, what does my health and fitness routine even look like? Am I overly restricting? Who are
you doing it for? Are you doing it for yourself? Or are you doing it for a standard that is not really realistic and that you saw on Instagram or something? Health and fitness industry, $71 billion industry. Yet 97% of people on diets fail. So stop dieting. Start living. Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's like, when you start living, that is truly the embodiment of freedom, right? So you create this lifestyle that you design, you get to carry out and live, and you're not restricted by other man-made rules and regulations. And there is no one size fits all. And I'm a rule pusher and a boundary pusher, because I feel like those are just suggestions that not everybody needs to fit into that criteria. And like you said, with $71 billion industry, well, something, obviously is not working. And so
something's not working.
Right. And they're not putting in the content of the work that you so are doing and so needed. And especially with women, because the pressure and demands are always going to be there. And it's unfortunate, because not only are we women, but we're just human beings not designed to be worked like this.
Yeah, I agree. And you mentioned the great word freedom. Mm-hmm. I feel complete freedom in my life and in my body. And so do my clients. They go on vacation, don't gain weight. They're not worried. They're not stressed. Almost all of my clients, I think there was literally we had 8 in 1 month who got raises or promotions or switch careers because health is wealth. They didn't join the program for that. They joined to transform their body and their mind and their gut health. But lo and behold, they gain more confidence. They created boundaries. They're standing in their power. And look, it's just like one after another after another. And honestly, if you're making good money, multiple six figures or more, you want to be able to enjoy that. You want to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And if you don't feel good, aligned, and confident and free in your body, then what's the point of making all that money as well, right? It's like both sides. Like you want to make the money, but you want to feel good while doing it. And that's really something I preach too, is all the money in the world is useless if you can't enjoy it. If you don't feel good. If you're at the beach with the cover up hiding, or you don't want to take your shirt off with your partner because you feel uncomfortable in your own skin, that's not a way to live. That's not freedom.
Right. No, you want to be the confident woman. That's what we're all about. Like be, that version, whatever that looks like and feels like to you, that should be your highest self is like, I'm just, confident in who I am, how I show up, how I speak about myself, how I take care of myself. And, that's going to look different for everybody. That's why I say like, that's not even a one size fits all, but no. Exactly. And you get to create your own story. That's why I always say like, you have the power to create your own story. And this is through your work, this is what you're empowering these women to do, to get rid of all the stuff that is no longer serving them, create a blueprint for them, more or less, that they can follow that is suggested, and they get to pick and choose, and they start creating these new habits and routines and beliefs that set the foundation and building blocks for this freedom lifestyle that you've, helped over 700 women, which is incredible. So I want to talk about, tell me some of your like favorite wins from your clients, because I think this is so cool when you can hear the real life examples.
Yes. I have so many.
I want to give you let's give you all the praise.
I'm looking at my whiteboard. Okay. I'll start. One of my clients came to us like 2 years ago. She is a pharmacist and also photographer. So busy working mother, very successful. And she was doing exactly what we talked about. Overworking out, doing beach body, eating okay, but like her body was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger as she was working out more and more and more. And of course, beach body coaches, no offense if you're one listening, but they're just not certified to the level that I believe they should be to be helping women with hormonal issues, gut health issues, and things of that nature. So Abby, she came to us, she had this amazing transformation, literally goddess. Okay. So she's feeling so much better in her own skin. She decides to do like a bourgeois. I always mess up that word. The boudoir. Yes.
You got the bougie and the boudoir.
Yeah, I combined the words. So she does the photo shoot. She looks freaking amazing. And then also now she's decided she's working with me for business coaching too, to take her photography business online. So look, that came though from her feeling really aligned and confident in her body to take her business, which was quote unquote her side hustle, to the next level. And now we're talking about that becoming her full-time thing. So that really excites me because that allows her to have more freedom. That's really where her passion is. Her passion isn't in pharmacy. Like she loves it, but like her passion is photography. She's an amazing photographer. Now having her see the light, right? Because that's what I did. I showed myself that I can do whatever I want. I can live wherever I want. And I'm like, you can do the same. So that's one. One of my other clients, Dylan, let's talk about relationship with food. We had a coaching call a few weeks ago and it was her birthday. And she was like, it was her birthday later on in the week. She's like, I'm really waiting until Friday to have it was around Easter, the Easter Reese's egg. And I was like, why are you waiting till your birthday? You could have a treat at any time you want. She's like, well, I don't really feel like I deserve it. So we worked through it, right? Mindset roadblocks, stories from when she was a child, father who was very hard on her, telling her she was fat. So we worked through it. And I was like, you're going to walk to the store while you're on the phone with me. You're going to go get the Easter egg. And I'm like, you're going to get 2 and you're going to show yourself that you could eat one now and you're in control. She's like, all right, I'm in control. So we hang up the phone. She eats it. She sends me a picture. She's like, I feel so great. She's like, I ate it. I feel fine. She's like, I'm saving the other one for later. She's like, I just showed myself that I am in control. Food's not in control. So there's a lot of those wins too, working with the clients who come to us who really feel powerless with food. And then we help them rewrite the story that, look, the food isn't jumping off the counter into your mouth. You're in control, right? And food is just food. There's no good food. There's no bad food. So it was working with her on that. Like, look, it's a Easter egg, whatever you're going to eat, Cadbury mini egg, whatever they are, it's just food. There's no good food. There's no bad food. You don't get a gold star for eating a salad. You don't get a slap on the hand for eating a cookie. So that was another big win. I mean, I could keep going. We'll be here all day.
Yeah. Give me one more. Cause I love these because, anyone listening could be like, that was me. Yep. That's me. Yep. Yeah. And so, it creates this relatability that, anybody at any point in their journey, fitness and health is the foundation to the building blocks to creating that successful life that you want. Like you said, health and wealth, they combine. So, even if, a lot of our listeners are entrepreneurs or have additional side passions that they're working on. And, we can kind of get bogged down on that. And we think that if you have the things, therefore you can be the result of it. Where it's like, no, if you be, then you can do and have the life that you desire versus the having, doing, and being. Yes.
Be first. And also just a message. I mean, I'm proof in a lot of my clients, like you can really do anything you want to do. You're never stuck where you are. If you're in the corporate world and you're desiring to start your own business, just do it. Sure, you might take a little short-term income loss. We all do when we start our businesses. It's okay. But in the end, I believe you will truly be successful when you follow your passion. And that was something that has grounded me and kept me going in the hard times. Business is very up and down. As when you're an entrepreneur, you have that. And it's just like, no, if I'm doing what I believe in and I'm passionate about, I'm always going to be successful. Another client, Deanne, she owns her own firm, mortgage firm. And she came to us 2 years ago. She had been overweight for most of her whole life, very hard childhood, a lot of stories there as well, breaking through that with her from a mindset perspective. And she went through her weight loss transformation. And in the past year, I mean, every time I talk to her, each month her business has like blowing the revenue out of the water, growing. Other businesses in her area are slowing down and she's still growing. And I really contributed to the fact that she's worked on her mindset so much. She's worked on her manifestation and abundance. We've gone deep spiritually. So it just shows when you're aligned in your body and you do the mindset work, you attract more into your world. It's amazing to see. Like I said, the program goes way beyond body transformation.
Right. So ladies, if you're listening and you're still caught up at the starting point, just know that on the other side of just getting started is unlimited potential where you can really just step into that highest version of you, all the things that you want in life. And I think that, taking a step back for a moment, sometimes we deny ourselves for even thinking what could be possible for ourselves. And just a quick little tidbit on myself, like that was something where somebody asked, well, what do you want? I couldn't even get past, like, I just want to not feel so gross in this body. Like, I didn't imagine that there was some greatness for me. I didn't know that there was a world of expansion in this beautiful life because I was so caught up on the feeling that it prevented me from dreaming. And that the dream is where the creativity and the passion and the gifts and the talents and all the things that are that we're all uniquely born and inherited with, but they're living so deep inside of us, just buried through everyday just stresses and past and trauma and all the BS that comes with life. So it's like, that's where that's the weight you need to release. Yeah.
It's the mental weight that needs to release. And when I teach on gut health, there's the strategic side to gut health. There's eating certain foods, taking certain supplements, but then there's also releasing the stories and the trauma and things that you've been holding on to since you were a child, things that happened to you potentially when you were in the womb that creates stress, right? So that's why gotta go deeper. One more client, speaking of gut health, it'll be really quick. She owns her own real estate firm, came to me, had tried everything under the sun for gut health, was taking every gimmicky supplement. She worked with a GI doctor. No one could help her. She did my protocol for 3 months. She had severe IBS. I mean, to the point where she couldn't even leave the house. And she's very busy real estate agent, like very busy. And then she also runs an online program. After she completed my protocol, completely fine, completely cured, feels amazing. No bouts of IBS.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And talk about IBS. It's one of those things like nobody can figure out what the trigger points are, like what it's from, what causes it, and it's very much more prevalent in women, which comes down to stress and hormones is really like the activator. So I love that you really work to the depths of women's gut health and their hormones and helping them understand it. Cause it's not, you don't just write like a plan and just say, okay, go ahead and execute it. You're very hands-on. You're teaching these women, you're guiding and leading these women. So they're not just leaving your programs with, okay, I just follow these like blindly going through the steps, but yet they are now empowered with the tools and resources that they can continue this journey.
Yeah, that's important. I want them to
exactly.
I mean, whether they stay with us for 3 months or 3 years, most stay for a long time, but that's because they love the mindset calls. But like, I want them to feel empowered around how they eat, around their gut health, to really understand it. Because anyone could just go Google. I mean, you can Google, oh, how to heal my gut, how to lose 10 pounds. Like, you can Google, I'll help you for a short period of time. And empowering them to have the tools. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, so good. And, you have a few different programs that you offer. Is that correct?
We have our main one. So it's called Fit for Life. So that is fitness, nutrition, mindset, gut health. Then above that is called the Aligned Woman. And that's working with me. That's just going deeper. That's for I'll work with high level entrepreneurs or executives who want everything that's in Fit for Life, but they also want to go deeper with mindset, life coaching, potentially business coaching. Mm-hmm. So those are the two main ones. And Fit for Life has 2 different levels. So a little more hands-on. And then there's one aspect that's a little bit less, but everything is customized, tailored, one-on-one coaching, small group coaching. It's very, very hands-on, like you said. No stone left unturned, really. I lead the group coaching calls every week. So they're getting a mindset call with me as well. So yeah. And we have a spiritual coach on staff, and we're actually bringing a doctor on staff to read the gut health test. So we've just upgraded a whole nother level.
Oh, that is incredible. And it's, you're really doing the done for you kind of courses, but they're also done with you. So you don't feel like you're, okay, just another course. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I probably won't take action. Or if I do take action, I don't know where to go from there. And you've taken all of this. Believe me, I've been a consumer on that end as well. And I'm like, okay, no, that's not what I need. But I love that.
Another course. I like hands-on coaching. I'm in 2 masterminds. Yep. One of them has this really long course. I've looked at it 2 times. I go to all the calls though. I love the live calls. That's how I learn.
Yes. Yes. And everyone has that unique learning style. And so to be able to, give women that DIY so they can do it on their own, but also be there for that accountability and check in. So if there is some personal touch points along the way,
it's important to have both.
Straight up hand holding too. Cause some people need that too, because it really is they don't have the confidence yet in themselves to really take that. So, anyone listening, seriously go check out these programs, because it's so needed, and knowing that you have every level of support along that way, it's fail safe, right? You're not going to.
I know you cannot fail. If you come to our program and you just follow and connect with us and do, what we're telling you to do, and, really do the mindset work as well, you really can't. I mean, we have 100% success rate. You can't fail. Failure is not in my vocabulary.
Right. And I agree. There is no failing. There's only learning. And
there's only learning. Exactly. So clearly we're sisters from another mister.
Somewhere in New York State.
Somewhere in New York.
different sides. But yeah, so you're in you grew up in Long Island. I grew up in Buffalo. So funny how the Long Island's considered Buffalo as the upstate. And so yeah.
We did, yes.
Yes. But I mean, this has been an incredible conversation, and your work is truly, truly needed, especially not even just of women from the health and fitness perspective, but to create that ultimate holistic woman. And that really is the embodiment of the confident woman. Like I said earlier, it's a holistic version of her. Yes. And this is what you bring to the table. And for those listening, please check out the links. Everything will be included in the show notes. One last thing, tell our listeners how they can follow you and all the good details.
All the good details. So you can follow me on Instagram, the Angelica Ventrice, and the link in my bio will take you to a page that really speaks about the program, a little bit of background on me. But for your listeners, we have the 4-day workshop for only $1. So they just enter the code podcast with the link that you'll give them. It's a 4-day workshop led by me. So it's over 4 hours of coaching with me on everything from emotional eating, gut health, a ton of mindset, nutrition. I'm very funny on it too. So it's entertaining to watch. So, and you could do it at your own pace. So once you download it, you'll have it forever. So it's a really nice thing. And we've gotten a lot of great feedback. I've had this workshop now for 4 years, and it's people really love it. So your podcast, use the code podcast, $1. There you go.
Yeah. And there you go. Right. Like what you said, $1. I mean, give it a try. I mean, if it's not something that you're into, you gave $1 and, some time. And I mean, there's, like you said,
to learn something, trust me.
There is a no fail guarantee. And I guarantee you that if you're going to love this episode right now of just us having this candid conversation, Angelica's bringing all of her awesomeness to everything that she does. And if, I'm seeing her and I see her lit, and she's so passionate about what she does. So follow along, check her out, and everything will be included in the show notes. So thank you so much, Angelica, for being our guest today. This has been an incredible conversation.
Thank you for having me. I know we could have talked for 5 more hours.
We appreciate you so much taking time to listen to our podcast. If you love what you've been hearing and you're looking forward to hearing more content from us, be sure you take the time to subscribe, like, and review the Confident Woman podcast. We definitely appreciate you taking the time to do so. All right. Thank you so much for listening to the Confident Woman podcast. For more ways to connect with us, check out our Facebook group. It's the Confident Woman on Facebook. There's a ton of amazing ladies in that group that you can connect with as well. My Instagram is @Erin_Travels for Life. Make sure you go ahead and follow that and follow Rachel as well. What is yours, Rachel?
You can follow me on all social medias @I am Rachel Brooks.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Look forward to checking you next week.